All right, guys. It is time for an in-house Taste the Bacon semifinal. So it's an in-house tournament for Masters League players. I believe Fluxior is actually kind of on the lower end of GM. DoctorRyan is a Masters one. Protoss. And they're playing on a weird map. Was this one of the map test maps? Was this one of the maps that they the warty map competition maps? Up here in the top left, it's Fluxior. Actually, this is one of the new map pool maps, isn't it? Oh yeah, it is. I remember looking at this one. Oh yeah. This is one of the new maps. Cool. All right. So apparently playing all on new maps for the new season. So that's kind of cool. Awesome. It is going to be a early, looks like a gateway scout. So no super early probe harass, but still going to get over there, have a bit of a zippy zap, maybe block the expansion for a while. Meanwhile, a barracks into gas opening for Fluxior. Probably going to, everyone's loving Raven tank, kind of super defensive play at the moment. I really like the Hellion variations that come off this build a little bit more, to be honest. But we'll see exactly what comes out here. I've been enjoying the reactor first opening. I think that's a lot of fun. Probe here, realizes there's a drilly boy, and just says, okay, let's just back off for now. Queuing up that waypoint around the base is DoctorRyan, going for a Cyber Core before Nexus. Okay, but no Zealot, it's just the fast Adept variation. You guys have noticed I've been going for the Zealot and the Adept and really piling on the pressure to create chaos. We saw that when I played against Top, it was quite committed. He just put his CC on the high ground after scouting it. But against somebody who doesn't SCV scout, oof, real nice to do either. But even the early Adept can get across this map reasonably quickly. I feel like this is a longer rush distance, natural to natural. You to go. So until those rocks are down. Oh, actually, you'd probably go that way. I don't think you'd go that way. You'd go through there. Nonetheless, it's a bit of a path. Stalker first actually being chronoed for DoctorRyan. The second pylon was ever so slightly late, but not a big deal. Has a very fast second gas mining, so just a super safe opening. I think with this opening, you do want to chrono boost an Adept or a Stalker after that, and you want to try to pressure across the map. But there is a super fast bunker from Fluxior, so won't really matter either way. Very defensive opening would be just fine. Nice grenade there by Fluxior. Gets a probe, secures that, gets on out of there, sees both pylons, so he knows where to scout for future. You cannot drop down there, by the way, that's just terrain. So it looks like you can only jump in there, guys. So he left a diagonal open, did DoctorRyan. I think that Cybercore, if it was one space to the right, probably would have fully walled that. As it is, now it's really hard to get in. So, okay, I didn't talk about this when I was looking at the new maps, but this is actually hugely problematic for Terran players. If it's really easy to wall and you've got such a narrow front, like you just can't get a consistent scout. He's actually very lucky he saw the robo at all there. So this makes things very tough for Terran players, and it's such a huge kind of balance affecting map design thing is if you give like a whole giant ledge, the Protoss can't really wall that off properly. It's rough. It's rough. So we'll see how it goes. Now for people who wanted to check out the new maps, I did do a first impressions video. It's linked up in chat. Check it out. If you guys are watching on YouTube, just search my channel for new maps. Came out in the last week or two. You can just go through my recent uploads. It was about a week and a half ago. It was good. DoctorRyan going for lots of Stalkers in a prison. Looks like he's going to do a real heavy pressure on the front. Oh, Fluxior's tank's going to be late. He's got to pull SCVs and repair this real quick or he might get busted. At the same time, DoctorRyan might just go straight towards the main. And if this medevac, please go around the edge of the map. A number of times I see people pick up these Buddha mines and just fly through the middle into Stalkers. Oh, come on. Stop it, guys. Stop doing this. Terran players, please. Please. Oh, okay, phew. Does spot the Prism as well, which is kind of nice. Pull the SCVs, you're gonna get busted. That's 9 Stalkers. They will 2-shot this bunker. I think it's 3-shot, I don't actually know the maths. They're gonna kill it real fast. Yeah, 3-shot. Losing 4 Marines and a bunker. The tank's most of the way done, but having to evacuate all these depots and the gas, that's already, I think, enough. Oh, maybe, it's already very good damage. Go, I think he can dive. DoctorRyan going to stay on the low ground though, but as that tank siege is up, he will be safe. Looks like the Widow Mines are chasing the probes in a circle right now. Tank getting some big hits. Oh, no, DoctorRyan. If you were going to go for it, you had to go for it straight away. You can't go for it now once the tank's out. Meanwhile, the dance continues on the other side of the map. I always do that exact same move, but I've learnt recently. Oh, no, the prison recalls into the Widow Mines. Fluxior actually handling the Widow Mine drop really well, and the depots didn't go down. The gas is still there. Has 2 tanks out, should really repair that tank. But as a Raven as well, this is actually a good position for Fluxior. The Widow Mine drop survives. Is only down about 8 workers. No third Nexus on the way. That pylon, not really necessary. Obviously wants a warp in point, but he's actually way undersupplied already. So trying to get the double forge and the Twilight. Looks like it's going to be a charge transition after this, off the back of no blink, but only 1 observer out. No blink, no charge. Third Nexus goes down. It's good that he's prioritizing that. He needs it desperately. Meanwhile, of course, Fluxior getting a pretty quick second barracks. So the stim is not insanely delayed. Sometimes off builds like this, you won't see it until like now the second and third barracks are starting their tech labs. But actually doing a good job of getting that out. +1 weapons as well. I don't think Fluxior's economy build-up has been as consistent though. Oh, that's cute. Okay. It's not effective though. And just piece out of there. Observer's gonna see where that medevac goes. Sees it go to the left. Yeah, +1 charge. Warp Prism is on the way. DoctorRyan, I would say, is behind in this game, guys. Fluxior is still a bit behind on dropping mules and continuing SCV production there, but has not really missed a beat with the unit production. That's why we've got this scary push coming. No SCVs repairing. I'm turning into Twitch chat. I used to get so annoyed when people got angry at me for like not repairing a unit. I was like, guys, I've got more important things to focus on. And they're like, but you can repair it for 25% of the cost. And I was like, you're not factoring in mining time. And they're like, it's still good. And I'm like, yeah. And now I repair every unit, every game. After arguing with Twitch chat for years over this, I finally repair every unit. It costs 25% to repair it from 1 hit point to full hit points. But the thing is, it costs mining time and APM as well to actually do it. That being said, with a push like this, I would love a couple of SCVs. Come try and build some bunkers. Charge, not quite ready. Big tank volleys. Ooh, great push here by Fluxior. Behind it, 3 barracks pumping away. No third CC on the way though. As Fluxior, I mean, you're so committed to this push, you need to either be rallying across the map and pulling the boys or building bunkers or something, or you need a third CC, I think, to give yourself more fallback. It's going to work out because he's catching DoctorRyan with his pants down, pants around his ankles. This one Marine here just going to chase them off. Zealot's going to come down. Good anti-armor missile. There's not that many Marines to really take advantage. And the fucking traitor mine. God damn. Oh my god. Oh. Ugh. Ugh. Third base survives, keeps the probes up. Takes out some important units. Yeah, Fluxior came across now, but it was too late. Where's the third CC? I think he's going all in with this. But look at that, he still hasn't dropped a mule in so long. Oh, this is one of these games where I think the early pressure has really just made Fluxior a bit panicked right now. He could have 5 barracks and a third command center if he'd been dropping mules while putting this pressure on. Instead, it's becoming more and more all in every second, and there's too many zealots. He's got too small a force. He needs to wait for his army to build in size, and he needs that Widow Mine count to grow to deal with the charge zealots. The Raven goes down, the Buy goes down. Oh, he loads into a red point medevac and barely gets out of there. Fluxior needs to take a deep breath and fix his macro, because he's been building SCVs to way more than he needs. Finally gets a 4th and 5th barracks, but he's a little bit slow to close this game out. And I see DoctorRyan clawing his way back in now. He's fighting hard. He's kept those probes alive. He's put them back to mining. If DoctorRyan can get up a 4th base here and he's going for it while doing some zealot harass, oh man, this is going to be insane. Like, there just hasn't been super consistent Marine Marauder production. There's no second E-base. We're going to have 2-2 versus 1-1 in about a minute and a half, and I don't see a fight happening before that. So DoctorRyan securing the economy, or the upgrade advantage, sorry, is going to add more probes and be able to go toe-to-toe in economy because that third CC is just so late. That Zealot warp in there, a bit overzealous, didn't get as much as he wanted. Oh, he's going to barely get out. Does save 2 Zealots at the very least. And he's keeping him busy, keeping some pressure up. Still no third CC for Fluxior. Oh, such a shame. He's in such a good position off that opening. He handled the Widow Mine drop splendidly and no cancel. Oh, I've been here. I was here earlier today. There was some game I was like destroying this Protoss but he kept like hitting me with these really YOLO attacks, and each one kind of shocked me out of the zone. And I was really surprised. I think it was like the first game of the day. The first Terran game of the day. And oh man, okay, that's a like huge overextension from DoctorRyan. Like he had no business being on this side of the map in the first place. He's got to go home. He's got to go home now. Like he's already being way too greedy. Oh, actually he's got the Zealot Warp and he can overwhelm. Where are the Widow Mines? Fluxior's in total disarray right now. He keeps being out here with just these tiny squads of Marine Marauders, unable to consolidate a big enough army. He gets some good Widow Mine hits there, does focus down the Stalkers, but he needs more firepower. He's got to keep these Marines and Marauders alive, and the 2-2 upgrades are about to hit. I mean, a bit of an anti-timing from DoctorRyan, but he's keeping the pressure up. He's keeping it messy. He's keeping it scrappy. He's forcing mistakes in that third CC. Once again, building on location. A big Zealot warping in the main. He's going to jump on the third at the same time. Oh, he doesn't know the third's been rebuilt. He's like, you wouldn't do that. That would be insane. Uh-oh. Good micro here by Flux. He's dragging those Marauders away from the Widow Mines, but Zealot's tearing down the wall. And it's just, yeah, A-move Zealot units galore. Unfortunately, Ryan doesn't know about the third base, so Fluxior is going to keep that one alive. We don't have a Storm transition on the way. DoctorRyan with a lovely F2 does pull his army back together. Oh no, he was actually trying to reinforce the front. He's really trying to keep this fighting going, taking advantage of some missteps from Fluxior, and now with the upgrade advantage, it's working very nicely. I think at this point though, he may get to the point where if Fluxior can just get enough units together, and a few more medevacs for consistent healing, it's going to turn really bad against DoctorRyan, who's already been a bit inefficient, has the extra mineral line, but does not know about that third base. And there's so many SCVs that can be fully saturated right now. Yeah, already a fully saturated third mineral line. Behind this, only on 2 gases is DoctorRyan. This is as all in as you can play Mass Zealot Stalker, guys. He's not going for Storm. He doesn't have the money to go for 3-3. As I say that he starts +2 weapons, that means he's not making any more Stalkers for a long time. He actually made a big pack of Stalkers here, and I'd love to see him keep multi-pronging. I think another Prism is key. I think more Zealot Warpins is key. He's kept Fluxior down in the dirt, down in the mud, and any time where he can just kind of stretch him thin, Fluxior's not going to have the money for turrets or anything like that, but there's not many Zealots here. DoctorRyan with a ballsy engage. If he can trade Zealots for medevacs, it'd be good, but he's not really focus firing right now, and I think the Warp Prism flew into the Widow Mine. It did. Disaster. DoctorRyan here. A little bit of an overextension. Yeah, I think he's got to just take a breath. That +3 armor upgrade, potentially more important right now. He's going to go 5th base and just keep making Zealots, Stalkers. His gateway count is at 11. That's enough gateways. He should not be floating so many minerals. There we go. 11 Zealots warp in and the bank almost disappears. Fluxior really keen to counter push, but I think against the style he's up against, Fluxior should not be frontal pushing at all. He should be turtling and backstabbing. DoctorRyan does not have the money to cover all of his bases. He's trying to get a 5th base. He's spread thin. It's like butter over too much toast right now. And the only way that works is if you bite the one piece of bread that happens to be well buttered. Well, unfortunately, it looks like the butter's sliding out of the way here. This analogy, we're taking it too far, I know. But, oh, big Widow Mines! Gigantic hits! Fluxior manages to dodge the army. Even though he attacks through the middle, they pass each other by. There's so few observers on the map. Zealot Stalker warps in there. Fluxior's backing away from it. I think he could actually pound his way through that. Take this Protoss to Pound Town, mate. Don't be afraid. Widow Mines! Stop it! Goddamn traitors! If you guys like being spied on, you might even call those Edward Snowden mines. You'd be like, they're a traitor. I'm taking away my patriotism. Oh god, and the medevacs all got sniped, every single one. Julian Assange? Julian Assange mine? He's not a traitor. But yeah, who is a famous traitor from history? In fact, who's a good traitor that we can nickname these mines? Who's the most famous traitors of all time? Aaron Burr. I don't know what that is. Judas? Yeah, I don't actually know the whole Judas thing. You Judas. Benedict Arnold. I don't know who these people are. I gotta look up some history after this. Fluxior is getting overwhelmed. That's it. DoctorRyan overwhelms. Dude. Oh, this is Brutus, of course. It's too brute. But yeah. Okay, so like, honestly, handled the Widow Mines and the chaotic defense perfectly did Fluxior. DoctorRyan dived up the ramp on the tank, lost all of his Stalkers, recalled home, lost the Prism and a Stalker. Terrible scenario for DoctorRyan. But then Fluxior, and this is what I do after a perfect opening. I'm like, it's been so fast paced, and I'm kind of like, argh! Like this was Fluxior in his chair. He was like so excited, and he just stopped dropping mules and building, and he started hitting supply blocks a bit more. You see the depot builder wasn't building building depots, and his SCV production kind of froze up once or twice. And this first push was great, but he just like didn't drop any mules behind it and didn't macro properly behind it. And like DoctorRyan just hung on by the skin of his teeth. So a great comeback by DoctorRyan there. Fluxior, no doubt, I think out for revenge, because I honestly thought losing the bunker, like it was going to be a huge advantage for DoctorRyan in that early game. But he was so patient with the Widow Mines, just chasing the probes in circles. And that was actually brilliant. So great move by Fluxior, unable to close it out, unfortunately. We'll see how it goes. Judas sold out Jesus to be executed according to the Bible, says Math Dude. Ah, what a dick. It's a dick move. Just like those Widow Mines sold out those Marauders by shooting them in the face to kill a red hit point Zealot. Guy Fox. I like that, Roboto. I like the way you spelt that. Guy Fox. Yeah. That's the guy from the what sound does the fox make or whatever that was that song called? For sure. Game 2. Is this a best of 3 or a best of 5, DoctorRyan? Up here in the top left, in the green, representing Taste the Bacon. In the in-house semi-finals, making an awesome comeback in game 1, it's DoctorRyan. Down here in the bottom right-hand side, in the blue. Is Fluxior not in our clan, or is he in multiple clans? Why do I not see a Taste the Bacon? I think we do let some other clans that like we're partnered with play in our in-house leagues. Gives us more of a pool of players and stuff. Either way, representing Blue Shift, Blue Sex. Oh yeah, isn't Blue partnered with us? Can't remember. Up here in the top bottom right, in the blue, it's Fluxior. He's gonna make a sick comeback. Apparently he's retired and he coaches you guys. Nice. You prefer the spelling Guy Fox? Isn't that just how you say it? Benedict Arnold is actually a failed trader. He tried to sell out George Washington to the British, was caught due to some incompetent British soldiers chatting in public. He was also the greatest general of the American army. Oh, really? Damn. Yeah, I once said in an IEM cast, I was like, oh, that Edward Snowden mine. Just because it just popped into my head and popped out. I got like a bunch of tweets people like, do you actually think Edward Snowden's a traitor? And I'm like, I don't even really know what he did, but like, I'm pretty sure I'd be on his side. I'm not sure. It just popped out because people were calling him a traitor on my Twitter feed. I was like, it popped out of my mouth. I didn't mean anything. If I say anything political or about anything to do with current events, you got to remember the only news I get is through my Twitter feed and Reddit. So I literally don't even know what I'm talking about when I'm making jokes about anything. I like have a vague enough idea to make some half-baked reference and that's it. So someone's like, how fucking dare you, he's fighting for our freedom! And I'm like, I don't know, man, whether I'm making fun of Trump or Edward Snowden or whoever, I really barely know what I'm talking about. If it's not StarCraft, I do not know what's happening. By the way, guys, how beautiful is this map? Disco Blood Party or some shit? What's it called? Disco Blood something? Blood Brawl? It's got Rubik's Cubes on it. That's all we need to know. Look at this middle area as well. Hi! She was waving. She waves only when there's no fog on her. Hello. Okay. This is a bloody sick map right here. This is awesome. It is Bloodbath? Disco Bloodbath? Ugh. Was this one made by Avex? This map makes my blood boil. I miss Blood Boil. That was a cool map. 2-gate Robo. It's a very fast second gate for DoctorRyan. Very fast third gate as well. Looks like the same build order. I reckon this might be a standard. Notice he cuts probes to get that down and then restarts probes. That's like real fast gateways. Just wants to make sure they're done before Cybercore even finishes, I guess. Reaper sees 3-gate Robo. Yeah. So this time you're just going to play a bit safer as Fluxior. Be ready to repair. I think he handled it pretty well. Like if he was just quicker to repair in the last game, he'd be in such a good position. This is not a bad opening for DoctorRyan in terms of like Prism Stalker, but if you cut probes like that and then it gets scouted as well, I feel like probably the correct way to do it is maybe to just do like a 4 Stalker drop or something, like poke around, just pick off some SCVs, be annoying, and go straight to like your Colossus or your charge and your double upgrades, whatever your next step is, like, and really just chrono the shit out of your probes, assuming you expect your opponent to counter it properly, right? And let's remember, for most of us on the ladder, they're not going to counter it. Another cut in probe production here because he wants to be warping in his stalkers as quickly as possible. I guess does go Observer first. Wait. Didn't he build a Prism? Oh, he canceled the Prism, makes an Observer, drops the third. Yeah, good reaction by DoctorRyan. I really like that. And look at this. Fluxior's being a bit safer this time. He's going a single Widow Mine straight into tank. So good mind game by DoctorRyan. He says, okay, you've scouted it. I think you're going to play safer. Let's be greedier. He does need to chrono probes though. So as much as he's rushing up his tech into his third base, he hasn't actually been consistently building probes. And that's kind of the weakness of this opening. You're already cutting probes a little bit, going for some very mineral heavy tech. So I think DoctorRyan, as long as he doesn't miss a beat on his probe production for the next minute or two, he'll be good. The Observer gets snapped by a scan. Big scan, Fluxior. He's gonna do a single Widow Mine drop. I like it. Observer does see it coming. Stalkers are on the edge. You can see a lot of angles to protect from though. A lot of angles to protect from. Looks like it's going to be Colossi play. I like that. Observer's going to come in the main and be like, yep, super standard, multiple tanks into a Raven. We'll need to get that Observer out of there, of course, knowing a Raven will pop. And the big problem with Fluxior's build, and this is very common, most pro players, this is like the most standard way they're playing at the moment. It's uninteractive. So what I mean by it being uninteractive, ooh, gets a probe and a stalker. Nicely done, and just leaves. Waste some mining time. I think that's well worth a Widow Mine. That's good play. Basically, you just kind of sit in your corner, and it gives the Protoss a large window of time to be really greedy. Now, the problem we're having is DoctorRyan's still only at 45 probes versus 43. Remember what I talked about? Probe production has been his weakness this game. Like, he should be chronoing probes, but now, I'd say by 6 minutes, like, he would want to rush to it about 55 probes. And then you might cut workers, add more gateways, add a forge, get some upgrades, you know, be ready for the push that could come. Problem is now he's lost his vision on the other side of the map, and he's still probing as we're getting to the 6 minute mark. But he hasn't really built an economic advantage yet. And the problem is, like, the earlier you get your probes out, the more time they have to build up. So it's gonna be tough. Like, yeah, now he's going double forge and a third. Like, I think you can get away with this, but you want to build a tech advantage. You're already building an economy advantage by taking a third. If you want to go double forge and Colossus and a base ahead of your opponent, you need to cut it like 8, at most 10 workers on this third, and then just try to survive. And that's like DoctorRyan's task right now. I love how he's added the Stalker out here for scouting. I wouldn't mind like a spotting pylon over here, and maybe a spotting pylon up here, like to see the drop since his Observer count's so low. He's gonna have a second Colossus pretty soon. Did he actually cancel one of his forges? I think he did. So he's realized that's too greedy. He's gonna add a lot of gateways instead. Good call. Yeah, I was like, dude, double forge, that's a bit insane. Looks like he's still trying to add probes here. He's just hitting a bit of a supply block, which is not bad. It's okay to hit a supply block because you're just like, I need my gateways, I need to be safe. His charge is done. He's gonna go straight into Templar Archive, so I still think he's teching up too fast here for where his economy is at. I'd love to see him just focus on Zealot Warpins, make Blink, make Stalkers, because yeah, the push is coming now, and like he's still probing. So you want to build your economy as hard as possible. When your opponent does such an efficient build like Fluxior, but it's very static for a long time, it's like hit your economy, hit your tech as hard as you can, and then cut it and go full units. And I think we're hitting that point way too late. And in the case of the Templar Archives, you could argue a single High Templar just for feedback's worth it, but that's it. You do not want to make Archons or Storm here. You just want Zealots, Colossus, and to try to fight and hang on. And DoctorRyan can't hold this. There is no way he can hold on. That's a dead third. If he holds this, he's a goddamn wizard. The Marines are up front. Bit of miss micro from Fluxior. Of course, that's because he wants to just take the fight. He doesn't want to waste time repositioning here. Good pullbacks, very little tanks friendly fire. One more interference matrix could go down. Oh my god, the Zealots are actually doing so well here. A few Colossus swipes landing. Oh, I don't think he has vision on the Colossus. What did I just press? Sorry guys, I just went back 10 seconds. Sorry about that. We get to rewatch it. Instant rewind. Let's watch that fight. The tanks are going to lose vision of that back Colossus, I think, when these bio units go back. So we're watching from Fluxior's vision. He focuses this Colossus really well, gets a Marauder volley off on it, the tanks finish it off, but then he loses vision for a second, and then he's got vision because it is shooting him. He targets it, but it's a little bit too late, I think. He's got to finish that Colossus off. Oh, good pullbacks by Ryan. Somehow he's getting more Zealot Warpins. Auto turret, get the auto turret. Oh, Cuck Matrix goes down round 3, but Fluxior, his third command center is floating down, so he's not all in off this. He's traded pretty damn well, but he's about to bleed out. He wants to finish that off, and he will get that, but he's got to leave now. Unsiege the tank, pick it up, go. Raven, run! Raven! Raven, you've still got a chance, there's no blink. If he runs, he's fine. Oh, especially with the bio reinforce. Okay, he should leave though because of the Colossus. Yeah, Fluxior, you're gonna get out of there, dude. Oh, this sort of micro can pay off big time if you're Maru, but it can also backfire really hard if you make the slightest micro errors doing those sort of non-stop parade pushes. Fluxior did an impressive job. Needs to drop like 10 mules on that third. Has a lot of energy saved up, but he's got double eBay. He has the third CC. He has the 5 racks. You can see the difference between this game and the previous one, where he was just stuck on 3 racks for ages, never had the third CC behind the push. So even though he doesn't take out the third, and that is a kick in the nuts, he actually did pretty good there. Manages to kind of keep the economy relatively even. And the question is, what's the next step? Second starport. So I think he's going to go double reactor starport. And I would imagine it's going to be Viking because he's seen Colossus. The problem is, DoctorRyan's not even building more Colossus. He's only got 2. So he built 1 extra after, or 2 extra after losing those. And then he's just going into Storm and Blink and Zealots. So I like the tech switch here from DoctorRyan. And that may be what wins him this game if he can close it out. The Marine Marauder though, oh God, way too far out on the map. Is he just going to get both Colossus? Okay, yeah, DoctorRyan here, going to lose both. Oh! Did it get out? Did it get out? Oh, it got out! 26 hit points. Oh, but like, yeah, he was way too far out on the map was DoctorRyan. He's got so little map vision, and that's a big problem. It makes it hard for him to charge, like, hey, I want to slow down any follow-up push, but then he kind of walks into a bad situation. Fluxior is just keeping up the pressure here, and he kind of has to, because like I said, yeah, he's on basic units. So just 2 on upgrades on the way. Mostly it's Marine Marauder Mine with a bit of Liberator action added in and just lots of medevacs. I'd love to see some drops splitting off. Once you've really kept them so pressured on the front, the power of a multi-drop can be so good. That being said, DoctorRyan, just 6 Stalkers in the main. He knows he's blind. He knows a Liberator, a double drop could hit there. He needs enough Stalkers ready to pounce on it. Fluxior's going to edge forward. Still got this Raven alive, ready with a Cuck Matrix. It has enough energy for anti-armor, actually. That could be big. Oh, another Liberator. The mines. Oh, big mine hits. Does hurt the Liberator a lot, but the Liberator's still alive. Some of the High Templar go down. They've got Storm, but the Liberators are saying, come fight in the Lib zones. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? I'd love to see some just clicking on these High Templar. Oh, big Storms, though. Big juicy Storms. The Nexus is so low, guys. It's only got 800 hit points in the business. Zealot flank. He comes through. He's going to break out. Unfortunately, he's got nothing that shoots up. And good stutter step. Oh, he's going to try to hot pick up. No, he's going to drop on the other side of the lib zones. The ultimate FU move. Oh, the Stalker's coming down from the main base, though, and all these units are heavily wounded. Another lib's going to siege up. This is getting very dicey. All of these expensive medevacs and libs are on the line for Flux, but if he can break through here, he will do it. Oh, this is such a scary way of playing TVP that Fluxior's doing. This is the way I never am brave enough to do this, but Fluxior is like, I got my Big Daddy pants on, and I will dance back and forwards in your base. The Raven finally falls. The Stalker's trying to take out these last libs, but look at it, he keeps dancing and focusing down the Stalkers and these libs being such a pain in the dick. Ah, DoctorRyan's like, get out! Leave me alone! Stop killing my Stalkers! Oh, every time he has to rebuild Stalkers, they're such an expensive unit. Each one dies even easier than a Zealot because they take heaps of bonus damage from the Marauders. Marauders do double damage to them, and yet they cost almost twice as much as the Zealot. 125 minerals and 50 gas for a Stalker versus just 100 minerals for the Zealot. And yet the Zealot's way tankier, way more raw damage. So anytime you can force these scrappy fights and focus down the Stalkers, it just drains the Protoss of building heaps of High Templar and Colossus and all those fancy tech. Nonetheless, though, remember what I said, Fluxior is kind of headbutting a little bit. I love that he's got a 4th. I love that he's macroing really well. I just feel like if he slid a drop in the back at some point, it would be amazing. Maybe sees it as a bit of a risk. He knows DoctorRyan's going to be safe against it, and instead, it seems to be the right call. DoctorRyan, he's got a Stalker drop. That's not, oh, he put his 4 Stalkers in the Prism. He tried to pick up the, he couldn't save his High Templar. He couldn't save his High Templar. Ah, man, DoctorRyan, I mean, he's been hanging on for so long. It's always inevitable you're going to make a micro error when there's this much pressure on. Fluxior is just leaning on him right now. I feel like we're watching a guy, and you know, it feels like Fluxior is just grappling with him, and he's like got his elbow on his windpipe, and DoctorRyan's like trying to fight for position, but it's like he can't even breathe, man. He's got this Terran weight on his chest pushing down on him. Oh, it's painful. It's terrible, dude. Really nice push here by Fluxior. Just non-stop medevac lib. GG, well played. Really impressive holds by Ryan, though. And I do love the strategic shift up at the start, even though I criticized the fact that it wasn't executed perfectly because he didn't keep up his probe production. DoctorRyan, I really like the way he kind of said, oh, it's been spotted. I can't really hit that Stalker timing. It's such a huge commitment. He'll be ready for it. And instead just went for a quick third and Colossus. So very, very good strategic shift from DoctorRyan. Was not able to win with the execution in the follow-up. Went a bit too greedy, a few too many things at once. But it's tied up 1-1 apiece. This is, of course, the semifinals of the Inhouse Taste the Bacon Masters League tournament. And we'll see how it goes. StarCraft 2 is the perfect game to be bad at, says Math Dude. Hells yeah. Yeah, we partner with Blue Shell for the EU ATL, which is one of the team leagues, where because our EU division's a little bit smaller than our NA division, we partner with Blue Shell. So Taste the Bacon and Blue Shell kind of play as one team. That's why we play in each other's in-house tournaments and stuff, and just have an all-around good relationship. So yeah, down here in the bottom right, it is 1-1 apiece. It's DoctorRyan. Let's see if his Zealot A move can take on Fluxior's big boy microing everything strategy. So the big thing here is I really do feel like Fluxior is playing as if he's Maru or Innovation or something like that. And I feel like he's clearly really fast with his hands. He's got much better micro than me. And it's also something where I probably steer away from these styles because of the lag differential that I get. Where something that's relying on me like stutter stepping 3 Marauders like away from my own Widowmine shots, and like I'm using like a single tank to focus fire the Colossus. It's too easy for me to mess up the micro in those scenarios. Number 1, because I started as a Zerg player, so I just like to A move things. Number 2, because I play with a lot of variable lag. That being said, it does teach me how to play the game in a way where I can do things in a way which I think is a bit more reliable or a bit like safer execution wise, right? So I probably, I guess you could argue I'm more of a strategic rather than mechanical player in that regard, especially with my Terran, where for me, I'm like, I'm gonna backstab you and dropping stuff, and it's gonna be smaller commitments, and I'm very safe on the front, and I'm very safe with my main army. I guess when I'm playing 3 racks, I tend to play a little bit more like Fluxior. When I play my 3 racks opening, as my first medevacs come out, I'm kind of like often doing this non-stop stutter step back and forth. And sometimes I get into a situation where I feel like that's the best way to play. But more often than not, I like to take the economic advantage, get up to the range libs, or lately I've even been experimenting with the mass tank style. Don't like it nearly as much. You can't sneak a siege tank into the back of a mineral line and ruin their economy the way you can with a range liberator. Speaking of which, I was wondering about range libs. No good range lib spot there. I think range lib would be useful here. Once again, not that useful on this base either. So this map here, Ephemeron, is actually not that good, guys, for range libs. And this seems to be a pattern on most of the new maps. The one thing I'm kind of struggling with as a Terran player is how easy it is to wall off the jump-in spot. Now, this is not super easy. You do need a few structures. It's like Kairos Junction. But I think that should be the minimal jump-in spot width for every map. I think Terran should always get at least that much jump-in spot, so the Protoss actually has to commit their buildings to an awkward position if they want to block it off. So I think that previous map was a little bit small. Nice! Fluxior! Big Reaper Fluxior! He's gonna survive for 2 more seconds. There's no way out of there. I got so excited. I was like, wait, there's another Stalker on the low ground already. Like, it doesn't matter, pig. He was hitting his macro behind it, so it was fine. Exact same opening from Fluxior, seems to love this. This is his standard macro opening. Same opening from DoctorRyan as well. And the question is, like, it's been scouted again? Do we just commit? Once again, gaps in probe production, guys. Gaps in probe production. Is he saving for the triple Stalker warp and he's gonna chrono a Prism? He's committing a lot to this right now, guys. He's gonna try and bust the front. I think Fluxior is gonna play the... Ooh, a Liberator for pressure this game. He's gonna go straight for a siege tank for sure. Wants that safety. Especially since you don't have a ramp here, so Stalker's gonna harass you very easily at the front. It's gonna be that game 1 opening again. That's actually on the wrong path. That needs to be further south. No, okay. Thought they would go that way. Good trade. Widowmine for a Stalker, always a good trade for the Terran. Also gives you vision. Lets you know, okay, Stalker move out. Siege tank's most of the way done. I don't like that bunker, guys. Fluxior's panicking. If you're going to build a second bunker, it's got to be on the high ground. Did he cancel his Liberator? Oh, I think Fluxior's second guessing himself a little bit too much here. I really feel like if you have a Viking here, it'd be great, or a Liberator to counter pressure. How did he destroy this pressure last time? He took big damage to it, but the way he held and the way he stayed safe was by counter-attacking with the Widowmine drop. Now that tank is very exposed right now. He gets a preemptive, yeah, they're not unloaded yet. If he'd pulled SCVs to repair, maybe this would be okay. Another tank's gonna pop, but there's too many Marines on the low ground. The tank was sieged in a bit of an awkward position. This is tough. No pressure on the other side of the map this time. And Fluxior here, that second bunker just, it did not make sense, unfortunately. And I think DoctorRyan's just gonna win the game outright. If not, get massive advantage. Oh, good hot pickup. Drop. Oh, he barely gets it down. That tank does kill quite a few Stalkers. He's gonna hold on for now. I would have actually liked to see a Zealot warp in here. But, hot pickups. Hot pickups does save some of the Stalkers. The Marines are focus firing them, but DoctorRyan microing like a, big Protoss. Big Protoss micro. That's it. GG. Good commitment. I mean, this has to do big damage, so... a second bunker would have been okay, but the thing is, like, a bunker plus a tank, Protoss can't break that. Unless you're just really late to repair, like, they can't break that. So, real unfortunate. I think, honestly, he would have been okay to have the tank on the low ground, or even the tank there, if he had SCVs pre-repairing it and all the Marines from the bunker unloaded instantly into that main. And then he's also counter-pressuring with the Liberator sliding into that base. Even if you take some damage and things get scrappy, there's no reinforce for the Protoss if he's warping it at home and losing a lot of mining time and probes. So, GG, well played. DoctorRyan, well done, dude. Good games by Fluxior. Fluxior, mechanically, beast of a player. And you can tell he likes the same opening. So, a little bit of advice for Fluxior. If he does end up watching this, guess what? I reckon, with how good he was mechanically in some of those situations, he could get some friggin' easy wins if he just went like, something like a reactor first, 6 Marine, 2 to 4 Hellion pressure. That build I've been doing. You could do my gas first opening, but I'm thinking like much harder pressures. Throw a proxy Marauder out maybe. DoctorRyan was scouting, but I think something like that one, or what's another like really hard? Any one of these like Hellion openings really are very nice. Yeah, I just feel like looking at the way that series played, he gave too much space to DoctorRyan. Like, I look at that and I say, DoctorRyan, I know happens to be a less experienced player overall, so maybe I'm reading into it because of that. But I'm looking at that and I'm kind of going, it feels like DoctorRyan had so much space, and the thing is, sometimes we get so focused on our own game plan, we forget to make it difficult for our opponent, and this is my all-consuming problem with that specific build order. I think it's a great Terran build order. It's real solid. It's good for the ladder. It doesn't take into account a tournament scenario. If you're doing that every game, it's like too predictable, and it gives the Protoss a lot of space to kind of macro up and do what they want. So I think it's not bad to have in the mix, but I kind of just feel like it's something where maybe Fluxior could mix in a more aggressive build that comes off the same opening and throw the opponent off. I think there's a lot of ways of just not only forcing mistakes, but just finding holes in your opponent's builds. And I think you can lose to a player a lot lower ranked than you if you do an opening that's so defensive and so turtly, where you're like, well, I do a 2 Widowmine drop sometimes, and it's like, yeah, that's like literally 45 seconds later than what I would be doing a Marine mine drop. It's a very late Widowmine drop. It's not fast. It's good non-committal pressure, but it's just so safe and so conservative. And in Legacy of the Void, more than any other game, I think there's something to be said for getting in your opponent's face and fucking him up, especially when you're not playing a Zest or a Stats. And if we look at the pro meta, it feels like it's often Terran rotating between different aggressive strategies. That's what we've seen in Legacy of the Void, Heart of the Swarm TVP. It's how can I kill Protoss? How can I make things look the same at the start and do something very different? Oh, now it's a 2 base all-in. Now it's a weird 1 base all-in you didn't see coming. Now it's this weird attack into this thing where I finish you with an SCV pull on 3-base. It's all about let's catch the Protoss off guard. And that's because of the dynamic of Protoss has a shitload of things for scouting, hallucination, observers, etc. Protoss also has the awesome hard counter to everyone's units. And this is the same in PvZ. It takes them a long time and a lot of investment to get the upgrades and to get that tech out though. So often the way Protoss plays PvT, and I think a lot of Terran players don't understand this, is the Protoss scouts at high level and they go, you're doing that, you're going to hit at this exact moment. I'm going to be a greedy piece of shit until like 1 minute before then. All my upgrades are going to hit just as you're hitting me. I'm going to have just got a second warp in off my gateways. And then if I win against that push, if I hold it well, I'm like, it's game over. But anytime you can add more interaction between you and a Protoss opponent, especially if you're not playing a Stats, a Zest, a Neeb, a Showtime, it's very hard for them to scout in the midst of being harassed, for them to identify exactly what the timings are on your build and exactly when you're going to hit them. And I know this as a Protoss player. I know a lot of Protoss players in GM who struggle in PvT very hard, especially against the guys who mix in aggressive openings. So I think my advice for a lot of the kind of lower GM and Terran players who are around my level or a bit higher, maybe in Masters, is sometimes having some of those waves of aggression in there and really just, even if it's just 1 or 2 really pointed, sharp pressures, I think is an amazing way to get Protoss players to make more fuck-ups, and it sets you up for your next wave a lot better. Like, this Raven tank bio push is one of the most powerful timings in isolation. It gets so many units so quickly, it's so safe, it's beautiful. If there was some disruption, some things throwing the Protoss off, even if it hit a minute later, I think it would be a more consistent build order a lot of the time. So that's my 2 cents on kind of mixing it up and keeping Protoss players guessing. I think as a Terran who wants to play aggressively, it's always a good idea to mix your openings up. That being said, Fluxior had sick mechanics, and real unfortunate he lost the first game because he had a lead in it. But GG, well played. Great games, guys. That was a good one. I actually really enjoyed that series, guys. Big shout out